Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi
Assalamu alaikum.
wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome all of you for this first virtual camp for Muslim university students. As we said, our objective is to uplift our university students' knowledge and skills by providing comprehensive knowledge on contemporary issues and providing various kind of experiences, bringing here different experts. So today we have we will having a very good lecture, inshallah. So before we start, I would like to invite Brother Abdul Wahid from Uganda to recite some verses from Holy Quran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes, brother.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Just one moment. Let me adjust something. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا. الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض ولم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك وخلق كل شيء فقدره تقديرا. واتخذوا من دونه آلهة لا يخلقون شيئا وهم يخلقون ولا يملكون لأنفسهم ضرا ولا نفعا ولا يملكون موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا. وقال الذين كفروا إن هذا إلا إفك افتراه وأعانه عليه قوم آخرون فقد جاءوا ظلما وزورا. وقالوا أساطير الأولين اكتتبها فهي تملى عليه بكرة وأصيلا. قل أنزله الذي يعلم السر في السماوات والأرض إنه كان غفورا رحيما. وقالوا ما لهذا الرسول يأكل الطعام ويمشي في الأسواق لولا أنزل إليه ملك فيكون معه نذيرا أو يلقى إليه كنز أو تكون له جنة يأكل منها وقال الظالمون إن تتبعون إلا رجلا مسحورا انظر كيف ضربوا لك الأمثال انظر كيف ضربوا لك الأمثال فضلوا فلا يستطيعون سبيلا تبارك الذي إن شاء جعل لك خيرا من ذلك جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ويجعل لك قصورا بل كذبوا بالساعة وأعتدنا لمن كذب بالساعة سعيرا صدق الله العظيم.
Okay, mashallah. Jazakumullah khairan, Brother Abdul Wahid from Uganda. Barakallah. Shukran jazila. So today we are going to having a very interesting topic, a valuable topic is about the heart diseases and the Muslim unity. So before we go to the session, I would like to introduce briefly uh, our today's presenter, well-known person, Prof. Dr. Dawood Hidabi. He got his first degree in physics, BSc, in 1977, Sana'a University, Yemen. He studied his PGCE in teaching physics, MED and PhD in UK between the year 1980 and 1986. Prof. Dawood Al-Hidabi works at Sana'a University between the year 1987 to 2015. He published more than 140 papers, supervised more than 150 master and postgraduate or PhD theses, and co-authored several textbooks. Currently, he is the editor-in-chief of 3 academic journals, and also he is the director of a well-known institute in IIUM. We call International Institute for Muslim Unity. He is the director of that institute. So without further delay, I would like to invite our distinguished guest and the speaker, Prof. Dr. Dawood Al-Hidabi. Prof, please welcome.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ashad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm quite happy to be with you at this particular time to discuss one of the key challenges facing the Muslim Ummah. And if we are talking about uniting the Muslim Ummah, we have to unite the hearts first. And the hearts become ill just like the body becomes ill. But unfortunately, we don't give attention to cure these diseases. We have hospitals everywhere to cure the physical illnesses. But the heart, I'm talking about mainly the way we think, the way we believe, the way we perceive things, and our will and decision making are always lies in the heart. So if the heart is sound, the whole body will be sound. So let us explore together the issue of the relationship between the heart and the unity of Muslim Ummah, and how it is affected, the Muslim unity affected by the diseases of the heart at all levels, the family level, the society level, the Ummah level as well. Muslim Ummah, as we know, it is taken for granted, must be united in order to be able to carry the message of Islam to mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated this very simple principle in the Quran by saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون. Indeed, this ummah of yours is one ummah, and I am your Lord, so worship me alone. So you could see the connection between the ummah concept and the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his worship. So we cannot talk about the ummah unless it is connected with the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the message of Islam. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing us that the Muslims are one ummah. Unfortunately, now the Muslims are divided for one reason or another. So we have 57 Muslim countries instead of one nation. We have also subdivision even within those countries. And we hear every day that is more fragmentation and Muslim countries fall into parts. We can see the conflict, war, crisis are widely spread among the Muslims. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always saying, and hold firmly to the rope of Allah all together and do not become divided. If we are true Muslims, we have to adhere and be obedient and follow the commandments of Allah. Hold firmly to the rope of Allah. Together as an ummah, one ummah, and never divide yourself into parts. And if you follow this, the recitation of this verse, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draw our attention that at the beginning of the message of Islam, Arabs were divided. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted them with his favor. And he brought the Muslim heart together. So you can see the connection between holding together to Allah's rope and bringing our heart together. It's a very important connection. It's a causal connection, causal relationship between connecting the hearts and never divided. That is, we have our own unity as an ummah. So the connection between the unity of Muslims is related to connecting the hearts of the Muslims. So what's happening with the heart then? The unity of Ummah is a reflection of the unity of the heart, which is reflected in the sense of brotherhood. Because if there is a real brotherhood, bring us together, we can see and observe the loyalty, the support, the help, the cooperation, the collaboration among each other. And as we know that Islam gives a top priority to the collective work. Our worships, Salah, Zakah, Hajj, Siyam, all of these are done collectively. Allah is addressing the believers in the Quran. Oh, who you believe. It is for the group of Muslims. The collective address is not an individual. Yes, responsibility in this life is individual and collective, but accountability in the hereafter and rewarding is individual. So we have to work together in order to improve our countries and to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and get reward in the hereafter for such kind of collective work. Qalb was mentioned in Quran 132, 19 as singular, but 112 as plural, qulub. And the Prophet said to us, there is an organ in the body, if it is sound, the whole body will be sound. So it will be manifested, this soundness, in our actions, in our decisions, in our collaboration, in our alliances, and in our work. There are three types of qalb. Qalb, salim, sound heart, which completely believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and worshiping Him, love the believers and care for them, and also they have cured their diseases which hinder their unity. The second one is the dead, unguided heart. The heart does not follow the commandments of Allah and the orders of Allah, whereas the one in between is the ill heart. That's what we are suffering from mostly in our Muslim world. There are a lot of ills and diseases. We need to cure them, which is more difficult, I believe, from curing the physical illnesses, because it's related to our desire and whims and personal ambition. As I stated earlier, the concept of Ummah is a group of people at a particular time, regardless their languages or countries or geographical locations or colors, but what unites them is the message of Islam. So the message of Islam is the connecting factor. And we have to address our own people and ourselves to ensure that these diseases are not there or addressed And also, we have to admit and follow the instruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the message of Allah. That is the oneness of Allah. So that we can go back to our civilization where we help the world. We help mankind to prosper and develop. The Muslims, as a result of this adherence, if we go and look back at our history, there are 3 stages. At one time, which is most of our time, where Islam was the reference to all the Muslims everywhere in the world. Until recently, in the last few centuries, Muslims started to adopt Western or Eastern ideologies. And the third stage, we followed the culture of colonizers. And you can see the identity today of the Muslim was influenced by the culture of colonizers. Many Muslims today are associating themselves with Western behavior and Western identity and Western culture. Dear brothers and sisters, let me just share with you not all the diseases, but some of these diseases which affect drastically our relationship today in our Muslim countries and societies, as well as between Muslim countries and societies. Some of these critical and acute diseases at the level of families, societies, and the Ummah. Antagonism. You can see the media in the Muslim world are fighting each other, which lead to conflict. And we have to replace it with a cure for this disease or illness, with love. That's why the Prophet said in one of his hadith, none will be a true believer unless he or she believes for his brother or sister what he believes for himself, what he loves for himself or herself. That is the most important thing to do, is to replace the illness with a cure. You can call it affection. You can call it values. You can call it ethics. But it boils down to something in the heart. Also, jealousy, whether at the level of the family, neighborhood, community, society, Muslim among Muslim countries, and we have to replace it with love to see others in a better life. I feel thrilled and honored and happy and excited to see my brothers and sisters anywhere in the world happy and live in a better life and they are improving their well-being. A further disease is mistrust. And that is causing a lot of problem among Muslim countries and government and rulers. There is a mistrust. And Muslims should have a full trust in Allah and his or her brothers and sisters. Trust is a basic ingredient of sound relationship among the Muslims. To cement the building of Muslim structure. A very big problem and disease in the heart is arrogance. Allah will never help anyone to follow the path of Allah if he or she is arrogant. Like Fir'aun, he was given this because of my own knowledge. He never admit that everything comes from him, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this kind of arrogance, to think yourself is the best. One country perceive themselves better than the other country, Muslim country, or one person better than another person, one governor, state man is better than the other one, and so on. Or one party is better than the other political party. That's a kind of arrogance. How can we establish the unity and strengthen the brotherhood in this unity if we are against each other and we are not humble to each other? In fact, we are humble to the enemies and arrogant with our brothers and sisters. Also, mockery, ridicule, which require from our side to replace it with respect, recognition, and appreciation. As you could see, this kind of diseases does not help us to be confident and also happy in our life. When you hate somebody, when you mistrust people, when you are showing off and you are look at yourself, perceive yourself highly, better than others, over others, then you are creating problems for yourself, psychological problem for yourself. One of the biggest diseases of the heart, following whims and desire, shahwa, looking after personal interest, what satisfies the person in his or her life. Whereas we are recommended and we are commanded to seek Allah's pleasure and to be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to develop the quality of taqwa, which may make you fear Allah and hope for his mercy. So looking for your own personal gains create troubles. You put yourself number one in front of others. This is applicable, as I said, across the board, at any level of a group or organization or political party or government or family. Other disease is not feeling guilty of committing sins. So you are proud of committing sins. Yes, you are a believer, but you don't care about fearing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa, it is in the lowest rank of your life. So you can see and observe the behavior of people in the Muslim countries, which need from us to help our own people at all levels to cure these diseases which affect ourselves and disintegrate the Muslim Ummah. Hypocrisy. It is not a new disease. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala categorized in the Quran people into 3 categories: believers, hypocrites, and disbelievers. And the most dangerous one is hypocrisy. You have 2 faces. You say something about your brother, but you do something quite opposite. Or you do in front of the media. You talk about it nicely, but in decision making, it's a completely different. And that is what's happening among Muslim countries. Anger, another disease. Because always, if you are angry, your decision will be bad. In fact, the Prophet himself said, a judge should not perform his decision if he or she is angry. He should not be angry, and if he is angry, he should not make decisions at all. That creates conflict, create crisis, create risk for Muslim Ummah. Stinginess, you like the benefit for yourself or for your tribe or your family alone. You don't care about others. You don't put the collective life before the personal, individual life. That's why in Islam, it has been clearly explained in the Quran, in the Seerah, in the life of Sahaba, in the life of all Muslim scholars and good Muslim societies. Generosity is the good quality which Allah reward for. Generosity to benefit others, and the best among you are the best, the most beneficial to others, whether in your country or others, so long as they carry the same message, the message of Islam, and they believe in Allah and His Rasul. Extravagance, you can find some countries are spending in a very luxurious way, and others are affected, and they live in a famine, in hunger. Where is the unity of the Ummah? What we are looking for is the moderate spending and caring for your brothers and sisters. Justice. Injustice is the disease, and the cure is to be fair and just in whatever you say and in whatever you do. And above all, disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and deviating from his path is the biggest disease. If you believe in Allah and adhere to His instructions, then it's quite easy to link up yourself with the Muslim Ummah. And it is endless diseases. I have given you and shared with you some of these diseases. Now, if our heart either full of these diseases or some of these diseases, for sure, it will affect our relationship. It will affect our unity. It will affect the way we feel closer to each other. The gap will be widened if these diseases exist. Let me just quote how nations rise and collapse based on the Quran. And we as Muslims in our history, we also, sometimes we fail, sometimes we rise. We have first to reform our individual and families through education, through tazkiyah, purification and beautification of our heart. The main elements are our deen, which tell us about the nature of ourselves and why we were created and what is the relationship of ourselves with universe and other creatures on this earth. Let me just talk about some of these verses. I don't think we can cover all of them. Just an example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقَالُوا رَبَّنَا بَاعِدْ بَيْنَ أَسْفَارِنَا وَظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. So the people of Sabah, they wronged themselves by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to longer distances. Our Lord placed longer distances between our journey stages. But they wronged themselves. So what was the result? Look at the rest of the verse. We, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dispersed them all in scattered fragments. So dhulm lead to disunity and disintegration and fragmentation. Added quite clear law, clear principle, stated clearly in this ayah. The same secularism and atheism, also another challenge. فأنجيناه والذين معه برحمة منا وقطعنا دابر الذين كذبوا بآياتنا وما كانوا مؤمنين. So they disbelieved in what Allah had given. So they are atheists. They are secular. That is the people of Ad. They were strong industrially, economically, materially, yet Allah, because of their disbelief, were destroyed. They were destroyed. Also, the group of the people of Lut, the moral decadence. You can see with if the moral decadence is common, then you have to expect the result of it. It's a causal relationship. It's the law of Allah. And we had sent Lut when he said to his people, do you commit such immorality as no one has preceded you with form among the world? Indeed, you approach men with desire instead of women. Rather, you are transgressing people. But the answer of his people was only that they said, evict them from your city. That's the end. Indeed, they are men who keep themselves pure. So we saved him and his family because they were not involved, except for his wife. She was of those who remained. And we rained upon them a rain of stones. That's the result. Then see how was the end of the criminals. As you can see, the relationship between moral decadence and how Allah banished them, and the forms of banishment for different nations are different according to their context. Also, lack of knowledge and lack of patience. As you could see, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped, supported Yusuf alayhi salam when his brothers have plotted against him. But the end was success because he was close to Allah. He had full trust and patience with knowledge and hikmah and wisdom. You could see that we have to learn from these kind of principles stated quite clearly about previous historical people or nations. So we shouldn't repeat the same problem. Justice is the way. So we need to be just, not transgressors. We have to develop ourselves and change ourselves, make tazkiyah for ourselves, struggle in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be better Muslims, better nations, so that we can connect to each other, regardless where you are and who you are. So long as you are a mu'min. Corruption is one of the causes of failure and collapse of the Muslim Ummah. We can see today how our country suffer from different types of corruption, be financial, managerial, governance, call it whatever you want, but it is not sincere because people are looking for their own interests. Developing taqwa is the way forward to unite the Muslims. And we have to be optimistic because Muslim has gone up and down. It depended on their adherence to the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our Muslim scholars, such as Ibn Khaldun and Malik bin Nabi, explain this phenomenon. Ibn Khaldun said, nation like human beings grow and die. Ibn Khaldun argues that the main cause of disunity is corruption and the love of this life with moral decadence. Ibn Nabi stressed moral commitment as well and the performance of responsibility. Luxury and conflict for personal gains and interests are among the causes of disintegration. Look at this verse. وَإِذَا أَرَدْنَا أَن نُهْلِكَ قَرْيَةً أَمَرْنَا مُتْرَفِيهَا فَفَسَقُوا فِيهَا فَحَقَّ عَلَيْهَا الْقَوْلُ فَدَمَّرْنَاهَا تَدْمِيرًا. Clear law. Whenever we intend to destroy a society, disintegrate a society, we command its elite to obey Allah, but they act rebelliously in it. So the decree of punishment is justified and we destroy it utterly. So those people who are living lavishly without adhering to Allah's words, the end is punishment from Allah and the collapse of the country. Again, the love of this life and the dislike of death, as stated in this hadith, when the Prophet ﷺ explained that people, your enemies are not afraid of you. Although you are, say now, 2 billion, but they are not afraid of you because you are not united. What is the cause? The Prophet explained the cause. He said, love of this world. You don't think of akhirah. And dislike of death. They want to live longer. It's quite clear. It's a hard problem. So tazkiyah is very, very important. While you are developing your country and connecting yourself with other Muslims in the world. So also there are a lot of manifestations for this disease. What if we are suffering from all these diseases and we cannot fulfill the laws and principles of Allah for well-being and prosperity in this life and the hereafter? What is the result? Well, the consequences are the lack of quality of education in both life sciences and career sciences, the lack of religious and ethical commitment by individual families and communities, the absence of sincere, competent and trustworthy leadership, broken and disintegrated families, encouraging moral decadence, focusing on personal worldly material interest and gains, the absence of true shura, the absence of enjoining what is good and forbidding what is bad, the absence of acceptance of advice and constructive criticism, dictatorship and injustice, lack of integrity and spread of corruption, lack of supporting the truth, lack of human rights protection, no priority is given to serving the public interest, encouraging conflict among people in society and Muslim countries, more loyalty to the East or the West, internalizing the foreign culture and values, lack of Islamic identity and being proud of it, lack of confidence in Islam and its way of life, ignorance of Islamic knowledge and practices, spread of misconception about Islam, duality of the education system, limited attention to Islamic education, encouraging the fulfillment of personal desires and shahawat, the absence of Islamic leadership role models, starting with the family and at all levels of leadership, absence of loyalty to Allah and His Prophet, the alliance with enemies against Muslims. Muslims are seeking the support of non-Muslim against their Muslim brothers. Muslims lost tolerance among themselves and respect for each other, lack of support and help to each other, lack of religious commitment, the appearance of nationalism, secularism, sectarianism, tribalism, and fanaticism at the expense of religious adherence and belief, personal ambition of and conflict among Muslim rulers and decision makers, Muslim Ummah spiritual, industrial, and technological weaknesses, the fragmentation of the Ummah into different countries, colonization of Muslim countries culturally and economically, conquering the mind and the heart of Muslims. They created different goals for the Muslims. The Muslim assimilated new cultural identities instead of Muslim identities. Commitment to Islam has not become at the forefront of Muslim desired goals, particularly from the decision makers. Continuous conflict. Now, some of the characteristics of the Muslim Ummah in order to recover and revive from all these manifestations or outcomes of the diseases. First, we have to know that we are the best Ummah, enjoining what is good and forbidding what is bad. And we have to fulfill this. Also, that our message is universal and a mercy for all mankind. Also, that they never fear any challenges and hardship which might face them, because they have full trust in Allah and fear none but Allah alone. Also, believers hasten in good works. They always speed up and hurry up to do good things. Always take the initiative and become proactive in acting in a good way. Also, they are committed to good manners like justice, humility, courage, integrity, trustworthiness, and so on. Muslims, they always thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to others who extend hand to them. And they are very patient and enduring the difficulties and challenges they are facing. And also, it is clear sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a principle of Allah that Muslim Ummah never ever distinguished across all ages. It might become smaller in size, but it will renew and revive again. The haram is very limited, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given an mubah. What is permissible is maybe more than 97%. What is forbidden is very limited, and this is only for the Muslims. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never make it difficult for us. You can read the fiqh. They will tell you, if you cannot pray, you can pray in any way. If you cannot make wudu, you can do tayammum. If you are traveling, you can break your fast. Everything, it's easy. Make your life easy. So, I think I should end my session by talking about how we can be united. First, cultivation of Iman, purifying the heart and curing the heart diseases. That's the main thing. And which should lead to, also we have to create awareness among all Muslims, particularly youth in the Muslim world, about the importance of unity for the prosperity and well-being of Muslim Ummah. Reconnect the Muslim countries to build their civilization through coordination and collaboration in different fields, in terms of agriculture, economy, industry, technology, spiritual or religious awareness, cultural, social, educational, political, environmental, and we have to adopt technology, innovation, and Islamic ethics. Being wise in making decisions regarding local, regional, and international issues concern the Muslim Ummah. We have to learn from our history across centuries and experiences of other world nations, because things are repeated again, and we have to know these sunan or laws or principles so that we can manage our life. We're not talking about forming khilafah or whatever. Just collaborate among Muslim countries. Let us work together like other alliances in the world. Reforming the educational system to enhance and strengthen a common Islamic culture, considering the different contexts. Focusing more on fulfilling human needs, such as cultivating Islamic commitment, delivering quality services in education, health, economy, and family institution, and improving the well-being of our people. forming Muslim Ummah alliance in facing all types of challenges and harms and taking care of the overall development and prosperity of the Ummah in the different countries. Purify and beautify our heart, tazkiyah. And we have to struggle to transform ourselves in order to be able to transform our societies. Muslim countries must respect each other and be tolerant in dealing with each other. Muslim Ummah must be an Ummah of Islamic message and Tawheedic Ummah. To ensure unity, we must fulfill the Muslim Ummah characteristics. Muslim Ummah is an Ummah of peace and mercy for all mankind. However, they must defend themselves in case they were transgressed or fought against. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry to take quite a long time.
Thank you very much, Professor Dawood, for this very nice and important presentation. Actually, the purpose of this whole camp is actually to unite the Muslim Ummah and to see the brothers from different parts of the world at one place and to bring the unity among us. And we are very happy to have you here as a speaker today, and also Imu as a collaborator and facilitator, and rather as a guide and as a supporter for this camp. So thank you, Professor, very much for coming today. And now the floor is open for question and answer session. So yes, we have two brothers raising their hand, two participants. And if anyone else want to send its question in chat box, he can send it to me. Yes, brother. I think brother from Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo is there. Most of the African brothers, they contacted me. They have Juma time and they are not able to attend, but brother from Congo is here. So welcome, brother. Please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Juma Mubarak to everyone. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm also going for Juma, but I couldn't miss very sweet subjects like this, talking of the Ummah, Muslim unity, and especially the heart, because Nabi Muhammad SAW said, there is one organ, if it's purified, then the whole body is purified. And shukran Sheikh Professor Dawood for all those gifts. So I will just go to perspectives, because why I would like you together with the Islamic Learning Institution, with Sheikh Hassan Malik, and also to work on together and see, at least theoretically, if not yet practically, have an international team subdivided into continents and all that. Why am I saying this? Because here in DR Congo, if you remember, I don't know if you heard the news, one day there was Yawmul Eid, and the imams, since they are not in accord, there was a conflict in the stadium. And you know, this thing has destroyed our image. Since then, as the president of Muslim students in the University of Kinshasa, I tried my best to search for other countries that that I've got the chance to study, so that they can send us facilitators for mediation. But those countries too told me that they also have the same problem. So the problem is becoming big and big and big. Almost everywhere, the Muslim Council is not working well. And so it will be very important to create a mediation group which will be there for that and make it international. Because I can tell you that they've spent more than $70,000 going to sending each other to justice. This one saying this and this one saying that. And it is even sending them to facade. Because if this one wants to win the case, this one comes with this scheme. This one does this and that. And up to date, nothing is working on. So that's what I can ask. Or otherwise, I just say, what can we do, we as youth, when our elders are not united? What can we do so as to unite them? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. Thanks, brother, for your comments. I think it is everywhere. We can see the disagreement and conflict among the Muslim Ummah everywhere. But now, as you could see, this program is directed to youth, and they are the hope for our future. If we develop the right mentality, the right identity, the balanced, holistic, understanding of Islam, they will play the role in their own countries. And I'm sure that it is not the only event we organize. We are going to organize, and like in EMO and also in the institute, we can work together to organize more programs to spread the word of Allah in a very wise, moderate way. And we have to help our brothers in every Muslim country. We can develop your capacities to be able also to reconcile and advise your own people how to become closer to Allah and how to unify your efforts towards helping your own people in your country and in other countries instead of fighting each other. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah khair. The brother also offered that he can translate any books written by Professor Dawood on this topic or anything else. He is author of many books into French and Swahili, inshallah. So the brother from Congo, he is offering this, that he can also translate to French and Swahili.
Let us be in touch with each other, inshallah. We have also an EMO fellowship.
Yes.
Brother, where is Ashath? Ashath can help them.
Yes, I will request him. We will share the poster, inshallah.
The link, they can share the link so they can become members with us and we can work together, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Yes, brother Muali Ulawali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullah.
I'm so grateful that I enjoyed your lecture this morning. It's so wonderful, so exotic. In fact, I'm excited for meeting our Prof in the house. May Allah continue to reward all the organizers abundantly. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian with Islamic study, both degree first level and also master's level. My comment goes just to you and the brother Hisan in the house, which I'm highly interested because here in Nigeria, we don't get it right yet as Ummah to speak in one tongue. As we actually delivered the lecture this morning. I will appeal to Brother Isan if he can gather some of us who are students over there, who are really joined from Nigeria here. If we can gather ourselves together to see ourselves as one hand, we can work together and we can start at that reasonable point. So if we can help and assist, we can see ourselves as one unit. Being a youth, we can start the point of success of finding a last solution to heart disease in the Islamic unit. We can do that here in Nigeria. If we can help us, we can gather the name together, which I will be highly interested. That is point number one. And the point number two is like attention of Prof in the house. Already it corrected itself when the lecture is flowing. You know, from starting point, the verses you quoted doesn't have maybe Quran chapter 8, verse this, verse that. But later on, I got to know that you included both the chapter and the verses. Kudos to the effort, and may Allah reward you abundantly. Number three, you know, there's no doubt in the strength we have the peace, in the strength we have the sources, in the strength we have the progress. I want to shed more light towards this. As a youth, and we all have our fathers in this house who are having archaic ideology about promoting Islam. How can we justify the both variable together? Our ideology, being a student of international IC here and there, and also our father who are having archaic ideology, how can we marry the both together? Thank you, Prof. But Isam, please take note of my comment. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Yes, as already Professor Dawood told you that his institution is mainly for Muslim unity and they are dealing with that. We are also ready to support, and inshallah we will try to gather our youth, our brothers from different organizations. This was a general program for students, but next time we can focus on Islamic organizations and we can invite their leadership, and that will be more beneficial So we will work together, Professor Dawood, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah, work together. And we are planning a youth conference online, inshallah, in December. So we can collaborate together with the International Institute of Islamic Learning, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. I have some question in the chat box. What do you say? What do you say about the idea of integration
my question has not been answered. My question has not been answered.
Yes, which question? Repeat, please.
I said, how can we bridge within the whole ideology of our father about Islam, about the unit of Muslims? He married that idea, which our no idea being the youth who are participating in a contemporary issue like what Prof has delivered this morning.
Well, I think let us work together. We can address such kind of issues in certain workshops and also train people how to manage them.
Oh, thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, a sister is asking that what do you say about the idea of integration of all Muslim countries under one leadership of Ummah, such as the Khilafah Uthmaniyya?
Well, at least for the time being, it is impossible. But let's start collaborating at the level of mutual benefit among the Muslim Ummah in terms of culture, in terms of having common values and exchange of benefits economically, educationally, politically, and so on and so forth, which it depends on the understanding of those who are ruling the Muslim country. So let us work with the youth, to me, is number one, because they are the future leaders of Muslims. If we can have a sound leaders, potential leaders for the future, we are in the right track. And we are asked, accountable before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what we are doing. Even we cannot achieve what we can, but at least we have to work for it. And the best way to do it is to work with the youth, because they are the leaders of the future, inshallah.
Yes, a brother is asking, what is the possible remedy for both individual and collective Ummah for the cure of the heart disease, apart from unity?
Well, there are prerequisites. I agree with him or her. It's a prerequisite. Prerequisite is tazkiyah. Tazkiyah, but it's a collective tazkiyah. You don't go to the mosque and pray to Allah and make dhikr alone. Tazkiyah is a struggle in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, collectively with your brother and sister, to spread the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let us develop ourselves while we are in parallel convey the message of Islam. So in that way, we are developing the capacities and developing our personalities, transform ourselves collectively. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Counsel with each other with truth and counsel with each other with patience. So we have to urge and collaborate among ourselves. You cannot be a good Muslim unless you work within a group of people who are having the same culture, the same belief system, and the same mission. That's the only way. So let's start with personal development, but in a collective way.
Yes, there is a question about sectarianism, that how can we achieve the unity among the Ummah, and we have some sectarian issues that sometimes create trouble for us.
Yes. Don't indulge yourself with conflict. Avoid conflict. Don't beside one group against the other. You have to know your deen first and focus on tarbiyah, on education, on development, on tazkiyah. Then, in the due time, you will be able to, inshallah, break through. If you have a core group of people who can develop themselves in a right way, in the future, they will be very effective in the society. But don't waste your time in indulging with conflict and fight.
Thank you very much, Professor Dawood, for your precious time and very nice lecture. Hopefully, inshallah, we will be benefiting from you in the future too, and we will continue this collaboration for arranging different activities for different segment of the society, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Jazakumullah khair. We stop here. We end the first session, and our second session will start after 40 minutes from now, inshallah. So, no, after 20 minutes from now. Professor Elmira from Russia, she will be joining us from Turkey, inshallah ta'ala. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.